Yeah, very welcome in our studio today. We have people from Acquired Brain Injury Ireland. We have Jan O'Reilly, who works with the group. And we also have Lisa, who is a person with an acquired brain injury. So first of all, you're both very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
So Lisa, you might start, Jan, I might start with you, and you might tell us a bit about brain injury, what's it about, and a bit of information about what's behind it.
Absolutely, John. So I suppose the stark facts around brain injury, specifically within Ireland, is that an estimated 19,000 brain injuries in Ireland happen every single year, which equates to 52 every single day. So what we do in Acquired Brain Injury Ireland is we help brain injury survivors to rebuild their lives. A brain injury is a hidden disability. So as we can see with Lisa today, it's not always obvious when somebody is suffering with an acquired brain injury. It can happen to anyone at any age. And it's been referred to as a silent epidemic, both because of the high figures and also because of the fact that it can actually be invisible. It can be a hidden disability. So what we do is we provide services and support to brain injury survivors and their families to help them rebuild and return to leading independent lives with confidence.
So it's all about independent living.
It's all about increasing the person's independence, and our model is a person-centred model. So the person with the brain injury is at the very centre of the service. So we've over 20 years experience and expertise. So we have a proven track record in the national provision of a range of person-centred accredited rehabilitation programs. And we have the evidence that our case management and interdisciplinary clinical work, simply put, works. It delivers the results that we need to enable people like Lisa and other people nationally to rebuild their lives after a brain injury. So we know that approximately 150,000 people are living in Ireland with a disability as a result of the brain injury. And in terms of the causes, how this happens, as I said, it can happen to anyone at any age. The most common causes would be stroke, falls, road traffic accidents. In Lisa's situation, who we'll hear a little bit about today, Lisa presented to hospital 5 days after giving birth to her second child. She was just 37 years of age. So we do know that stroke is a leading cause of brain injury. In Lisa's case, we were fortunately able to step in and provide that vital neurorehabilitation, and after which Lisa has made such significant gains, and we were recently in a position to then move towards discharge with Lisa.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. So Jan, you might tell us a bit about the difference between an uninjured brain and an injured brain.
Yes, so an uninjured brain will have the ability and capacity to plan, to organise, or indeed to problem solve. Whereas an injured brain, depending on the location or the severity of the brain injury, potentially loses the ability to have those functions. So, for example, that can result in the client being unable to plan, organise, or problem solve. And I suppose the impact of that on daily life for the person can be that our clients might need support for memory strategies. In order to be able to attend medical appointments. So if there's a memory loss as a result of the brain injury, we work very closely with the client on memory strategies. And there's a whole host of other, every brain injury is actually unique to that particular person. So again, the rehabilitation approach is very different. But to answer your question, John, in relation to an injured or an uninjured brain, the results can be vast. But what we would see typically on a day-to-day basis in our work is fatigue as well, that the injured brain will really struggle with fatigue. And so that's something else that we would support clients through. And in order to be able to allow the person and support the person to live an independent life, we equip them with the strategies and tools to potentially overcome some of those difficulties that they've been met with.
So a lot of the day-to-day stuff that you take for granted, that you just do automatically, all of a sudden, it's a problem.
Absolutely, John.
Right. Lisa, we might come to you. You'd be glad to hear. You might tell us a bit about what life was like before your brain injury.
Yeah. So my life was before the stroke. I was a retail manager with 30 shops for a gala. There was Baker's Corner, Coffee Junction.
Wow.
Yeah, Distill, Galato, all of this, you know. Then I had 2 children, Emily and Alfie, and they're my idol.
And life was great.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, you got a brain injury. Tell us a bit about that bit.
So I wanted to shopping at the pavilions, and we were walking and talking like normal. Then we went to Dee's house, and I was kind of a headache, and thought it was nothing, you know. And Alfie was 4 days old when my stroke happened.
Wow. That's a big shock to the system.
Mm-hmm.
Are there certain things that you no longer can do? Or can you do everything you need to do?
For now, for what, you know, yes, but now I have a different, so, like, I walk.
Yeah, very good.
Motomide, the physio in Noel, Katie in primary care, Nala, Sing Aphasia, Cafe in Aphasia, book club, poetry, rocking aphasia, Tuesday treats, driving, virtual connections, and acquired injury.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Right. I presume you depended on the health service for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved with Acquired Brain Injury Ireland?
Well, at the start it was virtual.
Right.
Because I only had, because it was COVID.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, like, it was just sometimes when it's me and whoever, you know, it was like, oh well, they like, you know, cooking.
Yeah.
Or washing machine.
Right.
Or, you know,
yeah.
all these things that can't, because you're not in my house, you know?
Yeah.
So that's...
Is that what you got from these guys? Or what help did you get from these guys?
Everything.
Right.
Like, there's like, mad, like if you say, like, Caroline has maths.
Right.
Or, you know, English.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
you know, the ones that, the driving lessons.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I got my first driving license for yesterday.
Wow.
It's done.
That's
now.
a big thing. And what treatments are you on?
Nothing really.
Good.
I have seizures for my brain to keep me, you know, but I've only one. That's it.
Right, brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Great outcome from what could have been.
The secret is to keep going, to keep the mind working, the body moving.
Yeah.
That's probably a big part of it, is it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, Jan, you might tell us a bit about Acquired Brain Injury Ireland. When was that founded and why?
Yes, absolutely. So API Ireland, our co-founder Barbara O'Connell worked as an occupational therapy manager with the National Rehabilitation Hospital. And there she advocated and pioneered social reintegration programs for survivors to bridge the gap between post-acute services and returning home. At the same time, unfortunately, Barbara's own brother, Peter Bradley, suffered a brain injury, and that left him needing assisted living rehabilitation. So this was developed in order to enable him to live at home independently. At the time, there was no appropriate service available. So along with her experience and belief in the power of rehabilitation, Barbara was inspired and supported by her husband Morris, who was the co-founder, to set up our national service and support people on their brain injury pathway.
So tell us a bit about the services you provide.
So we provide community rehabilitation.
Right.
We provide case management supports. We have clubhouses nationally. We have clinical support, family and carer support. We also have digital assistive technology supports, along with vocational rehabilitation, so back to work and education rehabilitation. So our assisted living model combined with our community-based rehabilitation team, case management, clinical, clubhouses. And most of those services are across the country, so it's a nationwide service that we deliver.
That's very extensive. Tell us a bit about assisted living. What is that?
So assisted living is whereby our clients actually live within the home together in a community setting. And so we have staff that manage the service, but ultimately the main function of that is to allow the person to work on their goals in appropriate, safe settings to do so, whilst also partaking in their community.
Okay, and the goals.
Sorry, the assistive technology must be hugely helpful for some people.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a team of specialists that work one-to-one with clients around their specific needs. So as I said earlier, every brain injury is so unique to that person. So again, that would be a person-centred approach in terms of what they need.
And what is transitional rehabilitation?
So transitional rehabilitation is a model whereby the person might be discharged from perhaps an acute or a post-acute setting. And the ultimate plan is for that person to return home to the community.
Very good.
But potentially they might need some extra supports in order to be able to do so. So a transitional model would be around supporting the person on those goals, for example, for their activities of daily living, in order to be able to safely discharge them to their ultimate discharge location.
Right. Brilliant. I see that you do advocacy, so you might tell us one or two of the issues that you advocate on.
Absolutely. So we passionately advocate for our brain injury survivors in Ireland. We would advocate, not only for the client for themselves, but also as on an organisational basis as well. So we empower around 1,000 to just over 1,000 survivors and their family every year to rebuild their lives after brain injury. And just too many brain injury survivors in Ireland do not have access to essential services. So we believe that every brain injury survivor should have the chance to rebuild their life and live it to the fullest, like Lisa has had that opportunity to do so. So we will never stop advocating and campaigning to make that belief a reality.
Brilliant.
In order to do so, apologies, John. In order to do so, we do need more funding and support so that we can reach as many people as we possibly can, and in hard to reach areas as well.
Do you fundraise? And if so, do you have any upcoming fundraisers?
We do, and we are so incredibly grateful to the support that we get from people in relation to our fundraising. And we are constantly fundraising. And I suppose our website would be the place to contain the information around how people can get involved. whether that's through fundraisers, donations, or even if they want to get involved themselves, volunteering to support us. So our website would be the place to go for any organisational news or upcoming events if you want to get involved. But we regularly throughout the year would run certain events, and actually I recently took part in one myself, which was abseiling in Smithfield down quite a high tower.
Wow.
there were jelly legs involved.
Very good. Well done.
Thank you very much. But there are fun events and activities, I say that after the fact. For example, we would have had a number of people that would have participated in the women's marathon.
Yeah.
We have coffee mornings that run up and down the country. We have an annual event which is called Bake for Brain Injury, that typically takes place in March, early in the year. We like to coincide that around the Brain Injury Awareness Day. And so that is a huge success nationwide.
Brilliant.
For donations and fundraising in order to support our services. And
So you had a skydive in May. How
indeed.
How did that
I
go?
didn't, unfortunately. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending how you look at that. I didn't sign up to that one. But absolutely, yeah. As I said, there's those really fun activities and events that go. And what's great about those particular events is that, while staff might get involved, also, clients and their family members also do support and sometimes take place as well. Yeah.
Now, we're right at the end of our time. You'd be delighted to know.
Unfortunately, I'd like more time.
Is there anything else you'd like to put out there?
Well, I suppose with the time that we're at the moment, I suppose we would have a pre-budget submission. So Acquired Brain Injury Ireland is seeking an allocation in the 2025 budget and a commitment to funding national brain injury case management services in order to be able to reach every person with a brain injury. And that's regardless of where they live. So I spoke about those hard to reach places or places that don't unfortunately have the same level of supports and services we have locally. So we're looking to support young people with brain injuries to move out of nursing homes, and that reflects back on the ongoing implementation from the recommendations of the Ombudsman Wasted Lives report. So that identified 1,300 people living under 65 in inappropriate nursing homes, and we know that's just not suitable for those people. So we are working with the HSE to support people with an acquired brain injury to move out of nursing homes and back to their communities. So we're looking for that commitment in that investment in budget 2025, so that we can begin to identify and support those young people and potentially move them away from those inappropriate settings.
And I really hope you're successful with it. I hope you get at least what you're looking for. So is there anything else you'd like to put out before we close?
Yes, thank you, John. I suppose what we can see is that we are doing our best, but we can do better. And it comes down to it being a resource issue. There is a serious lack of funding and services for people with a brain injury in Ireland, depending on where you live. We know from the report that a significant number of under 65s are still living in nursing homes, and we know that that's just an inappropriate place for a young person.
And these are people who could be out living outside.
Absolutely, John, because with rehabilitation services and support, more than 60% of our residential rehabilitation clients have come from those very settings.
Okay.
And they are now living in and partaking in their communities with increased independence and better quality of life. 50% of those referred to those residential services have ultimately moved back to community with even lesser supports required. So this not only allows those people to rebuild their lives with their supports, but of course it has significant savings for health service and for state. And I suppose the key message is that absolutely life changes dramatically after a brain injury, but it is not over. Rehabilitation and our supports can help a brain injury survivor to regain their skills over time.
What's it like for this constituency?
So I'm biased because I work in this constituency. But I suppose it comes down to a resource issue.
Yeah.
I have lengthy wait lists in order to be able to carry out the assessments that are so badly required.
Right.
We know from a brain injury rehabilitation model that the sooner that we can get involved with the person, the better the outcome. But unfortunately, we have lengthy wait lists for the assessments, And then once the person is approved for service and suitable for the service that they so badly require, there is also a further wait list for us to be able to deliver that crucial intervention.
I really hope you get somewhere onto that list soon.
Thank you very much,
Hope
John.
your budget submission is successful.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, John.
And to you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you.